The question is it cost effective to give all of my crews and technicians a mobile device in the field? There's a lot of software solutions that now use mobile devices. So my opinion is from two sides. One, because I own Service Autopilot, and then also because of because of CityTurf. So I have two perspectives on this. And between the two experiences that I've had, I think it's an overwhelming yes. And so here's why. In the early days of CityTurf, we were using a product called Q Express before Service Autopilot ever existed. And in Q Express, we had to print out a route sheet, and we then had to have our guys write times on the route sheet. They had to write notes if a client asked for something, and they had to write all of that out. They had to then bring that back to the office, and somebody had to put all of that in. And there were times that paper would stack up for a couple days before it would be entered. And there were times that we couldn't read the guy's writing, and there were all these different things that happened. A client would call in with questions, and we wouldn't be able to answer it because the data hadn't been put into Q Express. And then actually back then, most people in the company couldn't even get to Q Express. So that's one of the problems that we were experiencing. The other one was that the amount of time that it took to put in all of the necessary data, start and end times, was a job skip, job notes, just all these different data points, drive time, product cost. It was really tedious. And so for many, many years, we never knew our job costing. We would periodically try to figure it out on a small set of data, but we really didn't know how we were doing. And then we were paying quite a bit of money in payroll to put all of this data into the system. And then if the data had inaccuracies in it, we wouldn't even look at it. So what would happen sometimes is we would have data that was 90% accurate, but that 10% just made us lose complete confidence. And as a result, we would stop looking at certain reports, or there would be gaps in reports. So we just sort of quit looking at it. And I think job costing is one of the most important things in the business. So for those reasons and many others, I feel that mobiles are really important. And I think it's worth the cost because I think it helps you react. And by having accurate data, you can make far better business decisions. Also, yes, you are spending more money on the mobile devices, but there's so many advantages coming to mobiles. For example, in Service Autopilot, and this isn't a plug for Service Autopilot because there are other systems that can do this, but as an example, in Service Autopilot, we can now take pictures in the field. We can track job times. We're about to do signature capture. It's July of 2014. Signature capture is coming out in August. So you start to think about some of the things that are now coming to technology that are over and above just capturing start and end times. We also capture drive time. We capture parts runs. We capture time for breaks. We capture all the miscellaneous non-productive, non-billable times as well. So now that has great value for the guys in the field to write all that down, be 100% accurate, and then have somebody in the office put all of that in. That would be quite expensive. And so I think the cost to some degree is offset by the cost of the mobile device. But more important than that, even if the cost is not fully offset, it's critical when growing the company and trying to maximize your profit margins that you understand the numbers of your business and you know who your good clients and your bad clients are, and you know where you're making money and not making money. And so that's my biggest argument for why I think at our company it was worth investing in mobiles, and why for many other companies it is, because that will help you build a much better business. The market's so ridiculously competitive that you have to take every little competitive advantage you can to optimize your processes and squeak out as much margin as you can and cut costs everywhere you can and be as efficient as you can. And so I don't see the cost of the mobile as a pure expense. I see it as being offset by all the advantages that come with it. For me, I'm not as excited about a mobile where I can let my guys see the schedule on the phone. It's like I kind of couldn't care less about that. I'm not one of those people that worries about the cost of paper. Paper's so cheap. Of course, we don't want to, use unnecessary paper, but I'm not so worried about printing out something. I'm more worried about the economic benefits to the business, and I'm more worried about how we can benefit the business. I'm willing to spend a little bit of money to print out paper. So I wouldn't buy mobiles from my perspective just to eliminate paper schedules, though there are a lot of companies that want to be completely paperless. It's all the other things that I think are important, like the taking pictures, the signature capture, invoicing from the field, charging a credit card from the field. So if those things are important to your business, you will find that mobiles are worth it for your business. Another option too and this is happening across industries, not just in this industry. A lot of companies are giving their employees stipends. So a lot of employees will have their own mobile device, smartphone already. And so what companies will do is they'll just pay $15 a month to the employee or $20 a month to the employee to use their device, because depending on the solution you're using, it's probably not going to use a lot of bandwidth. However, pictures can use quite a bit of bandwidth. And also, this is a side note, think about the implications of having a guy shoot video from the field and send it to you, or shoot a video from the field, upload it to YouTube, and you look at it on YouTube and answer his question without going out there. How much money does that save? So back to my point, there's a lot of companies across a lot of industries that are not supplying mobile devices to their employees because they already have them. Rather, they're helping them just pay for a portion of their monthly bill. I think that's a fantastic plan. And then what you do is you have several mobile devices in your office that are backups. So if an employee doesn't pay their bill and their device is turned off, or if they lose it, you have one that you can give that employee so that they're still fully functional. So I would highly recommend looking at mobiles. If you think about where technology is going, and I live in this world, so I have a little different perspective, what we're going to be doing with Service Autopilot and what our competitors might be doing with their software systems in 5 years is really pretty amazing. I mean, mobile is it. It's where it's at. You just think about the amount of work that you could shift out of your office in the coming years to your guys in the field, where your guys in the field aren't hardly having to do anything but tap a few buttons, take a few pictures, and the system's doing a lot of automation for them. I think there's no scenario where if you want to be competitive and you want to match offerings that your competitors have and the things that they're doing and the great customer service they're providing to their clients, you'll have to be using mobile devices that can facilitate all that. So I would research your different mobile plans, and you definitely want to be in a group data plan. So for example, if you are providing your mobile devices, for example, I use AT&T, and so what we do is we have all iPhones in our company and Apple devices. So for example, I believe we pay $30 per month for cellular service, and then the data plan is all shared. We buy big blocks of minutes, and they're shared across, I believe, 15 devices. So I think that a group is 15, maybe it's 25, and we have several groups. And within those, there's a block of minutes that 15 to 25 devices can share. And we have just several of these blocks. So it's not a scenario where you're looking at paying $100 a month for a guy to have a mobile device. It's a scenario where you're paying $30 for them to have cellular service, and the data is in a shared pool of minutes. The other thing too, a Service Autopilot is doing this now and will be doing a better and better job of it, and other systems are starting to do it. There's more and more scenarios out there where you could sync in the morning, they could work all day, and then at the end of the day, they could sync back up, and so they have no cellular service. I feel, though, if you're going to provide the device, you might as well go ahead and give them cellular so that they can call you, that they can text you, and that you can see real time where they're at, so that they can capture pictures and they come back to the office in real time, so that you can update their schedules, so that if you change something in the schedule, you can communicate it to your team. There's a lot of reasons why I think it's worth spending, in my example, the extra $30 for cellular minutes. I attribute it to marketing and customer service. The better you do as a company, the better your service, the faster you react, the better. And think about this too. If you can't really get a hold of one of your guys in the field, he has to come back to the shop, and then you have to send him all the way back out to do a job. How much money did that just cost you in payroll and drive time and fuel? If you just think about all the little mistakes that happen in your business, that if you can eliminate them and fix them and optimize them, and you could do it because you give somebody a $30 a month cellular connection, it's a no-brainer to me. It's an absolute no-brainer. And so for all those reasons, that's why I highly recommend using mobile devices. And that's a little information about how they work and the cost structure behind them. If you have any questions, please post your comments below, and I'll elaborate on this further. Thanks.